What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, coach of your Montreal Milotic, bringing you our draft analysis for the BBL season number 8. It is finally time. We are back for some more Wi-Fi draft league content. This time on Sword and Shield, we are back for some Ubers. So if you guys are interested in that kind of content, make sure to leave a like and of course subscribe to the channel. We are pretty close to 1,300, I think it is 1,200, something along those lines. It's been a long time since I uploaded. Had my first battle go up on 2 days ago. Yesterday was the draft stream over on my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/MattOshea. And if you guys missed it, we went over our entire draft. Not just our draft, but everyone's draft. Me and Josh, Ultra 12, were the ones who were supposed to do it together. Hopefully that actually is correct. But we are here for our personal individual draft analysis, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. So again, let's jump into it. So this is a points-based draft with Uber Pokemon allowed. The way it works is we had a 130 point budget, and using that budget, we were able to draft a team of 10 to 12 Pokemon. And I'm actually running the league this year, which is great. I'm super excited for that. First league I've been running that's not a Ocean League for forever, okay? So yeah, like I said, 130 points for 10 to 12 Mons. There was a tier of Pokemon, multiple tiers of Pokemon that were considered Ubers, the best of the best. Those Pokemon range from the 24 point tier until the 18 point tier. If you would fall in that point category, you were considered an Uber. And Pokemon that were in the draft in that category, you can only use a budget of 41 of your 130 points on Ubers. So for example, if you drafted a 24 point Pokemon like Xerneas, like Zekrom, like Marshadow, Lunala even, you cannot get another Uber. If you drafted a 23 point Uber, you can get an 18 point Uber because 23 plus 18 equals 41. If you got a 21 pointer, you can get a 20 pointer as well because that equals 41 in total. You can also choose not to get Ubers, and anything that was below the 18 point tier was considered not an Uber. So I'm pretty excited because the team that I drafted, I was able to wait until the very end to get my Uber because I got sniped of Magearna, because I got sniped of Groudon, because I got sniped of any of the Ubers that I really wanted. We ended up with, I believe it was the, I think it was the 9th pick, 10th pick, it was the 10th pick, that's what it was, out of 12 coaches, which isn't terrible. It was only 12 coaches, which is the lowest we've had in a BBL season ever. And because of that, I said, you know what, instead of going with an Uber, I'll get something that's not considered an Uber, but is really good and is on the border of Uber versus non-Uber status, and that is going to be Dragapult. Now Dragapult, round 1 Dragapult in an Uber's format, not the best, but Dragapult nonetheless is insane. I'm super excited to have Dragapult on this team. It's a speed demon, 142 base speed, 120 attack, 100 special attack, really bulky, not bulky, I'm saying really offensive, fast Pokemon that can put a lot of pressure on a lot of different teams. If you're not prepared for Ghost Stab, you're gonna have a hard time dealing with Dragapult. At the same time, its matchup against a lot of the higher, scarier Uber's threats is pretty decent. You have ways to really break through the Dragon types with Dragon Darts, whether it's Banded or Life Orb. You have Draco Meteor, that's the one, and that's also really good to be able to just break through those more physically offensive Dragon types or physically defensive Dragon types. You have Shadow Ball because a lot of the Ubers are going to be Ghosts or are going to be Psychic types, and you outspeed them as well, which is amazing. And that means I can also potentially run a Choice Specs and go Modest Nature, so I don't have to worry about reducing the output of my damage. I am in a really good position with the start of Dragapult. I decided to build my team around that, and I knew right away, based on the way things were looking, I was in a situation where I could wait to the very end for at least one of my Ubers, and then I said, you know what? If I don't go with Urshifu Single Strike, I can actually wait till the very end for both my Ubers. So I decided to say I'll wait and go to the very end, and you guys will be surprised. Not surprised, but you'll kind of expect, it'll make sense what my Ubers are when you guys see them. But Dragapult, absolutely insane Pokemon, really good way to start the building block, but I did want to have Magearna to start my draft this season. That's okay though, we decided to move on with our next pick. We came all the way back to us, and I said, you know what? I'm going to grab a really early Pokemon. It should not go this early under any circumstances in this league, but we decided to get it early because I didn't feel like it was going to make it back to me, and that is going to be Mandibuzz. Now, Mandibuzz is solid. It's a really good pair with Dragapult because it's one of the best options to check Dragapult. It is super bulky on the physical and special side to check either the physical or special Dragapult. It is bulky and has U-turn, has Roost, has access to Defog, is very comfortable running Boots, a lot of different things. It has 2 really good immunities in Ground and in Psychic. I just felt it was a really solid pick, and it really is a good pick. U-turn, very nice. Knockoff support, very good. In Uber's, Foul Play is an awesome move to have, which it does get access to as well. Defog, nice to have. In general, it's going to run the same few moves all the time, but that's okay. We can really take advantage of Mandibuzz's utility that it provides our team and make the most out of it for the rest of our roster, which is pretty damn important considering the team that we have. And honestly, the stepping stone that we have between Dragapult and Mandibuzz, the combination that they provide is really good. Now, one thing that our team does lack, obviously, is going to be quite a few things, but we want to make sure we have a Ghost immunity. We want to make sure because Dragapult is weak to ghosts, we will make sure we have an answer to those things. And because of that, I decided to get my normal type now, which is really good in Ubers. Not as good as it is in singles and regular Draft League, but it's still a really good mon in Ubers, and I'm happy to have it. It just is solid all around, provides no real weakness, and the weakness that it does have, Dragapult's able to check that decently well, considering that there's no predictions being made. That's going to be Porygon 2. Now, Porygon 2, again, super early for this Pokemon, but a very good one nonetheless. What it provides me gives me really good coverage options like Tri-Attack, Shadow Ball, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, attacks to Teleport. Slow Momentum is the name of the game to get into our Dragapult. We are so far Momentum, the team, which I absolutely love. Recover, very good to have. At the same time, the fact that it's able to just take so many hits, physical and special, I can really mold to do whatever I want. Which is the same thing with Mandibuzz. If Mandibuzz is an option for going physical defensive, I'll take it. Versus special defensive, it could go either way. Just depends on the Uber that we're facing off against. And who knows, I'd be pretty excited to see what kind of stuff we can cook up with the Porygon. And at the same time, this gives us an option for Trick Room with Teleport. That can be very, very scary for an opponent to deal with. Just, look at me. I was dealing with Trick Room Teleport the entire time in CGT. I'm worried about it the whole time, and it paid off for my opponents. So hopefully, we can make that work for us. Very good Pokemon. Hopefully, it can continue its success that we've had for it. And just so you guys know, I'm going with like an Avatar themed nickname, Avatar The Last Airbender. The nickname I had for my Dragapult was Roku, and I love the name. I love the name Roku. It's a really good name. I think it fits super well. So I decided to name everything else around those things. So if you guys have any Avatar nicknames, let me know down in the comments. I would love to see them. But yeah, moving on though, our next mon, again, super happy to get this one. I didn't think that it would honestly fall to me, but I'm pretty happy about it because just look, it's not a great Pokemon. It's a good one. But I just didn't think that it would get to me because it's really good in Ubers, considering that it just hits so damn hard. And that's going to be our Primarina. Now, Primarina is super solid here. Katara is our Prim nickname. Very good mon here. It's what I used with Pult last time, and I think it's a good pairing because, number one, it's a Fairy type to be immune to Dragon type attacks, which is super nice. It's pretty bulky water. Not the fastest in the world, but it doesn't need to be fast because you hit like a truck, and you have access to slow momentum in Flip Turn, which is just absolutely amazing. The fact that I get that, the fact that you get coverage in Energy Ball, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Moonblast, and Draining Kiss, Ice Beam, all the works. This is the water moves like crazy. Calm Mind as well. Very, very nice. Perish Song is another option for this thing to run with Whirlpool, so you can trap something in if they are not expecting it. Very useful here, but mostly used as a special breaker to break past a lot of Pokemon that might be trying to take special hits from the Dragapult. And right now, we just had our defensive core set up in stone with the Mandibuzz and the Porygon 2, and we have another special wall breaker to start breaking through a lot of my opponent's Pokemon, which is super valuable. Next up, I actually got sniped. Now, I got sniped at pick 4. I wanted to have Nidoqueen here, but I couldn't go it. It was pick 3 that I wanted Nidoqueen, but I got sniped at that, and I had to go and pivot to another poison type. And the poison type was one that I said, you know what? I want a poison type, but I also want a type that's going to help me out and take a lot of hits from opposing fighting types and opposing fairy types. So poison made sense, but I want a bulky one. And the bulky ones that were left just didn't catch my eye, especially because they didn't get like recovery, they didn't get good options for what's the word I'm looking for offensive pressure. They really weren't that crazy, and they got worn down really quickly. So I decided to get a Pokemon that is not going to get worn down quickly, and that's because it has Regenerator. So that's going to be the ever popular Amoonguss. This is a very sussy looking mushroom. Yeah, look, I'm a fan of Amoonguss in terms of what it provides to a team with Spore. It just is something that you have to prep for, which is nice. It is very slow, but Foul Play in a format like this is really good. Clear Smog in a format like this is really good. So I don't feel like it's going to be taken advantage of as easy, which is nice for us. It has Giga Drain, it has Grass on as well, so it can be set up on by like the Zygardes, which is nice. Sludge Bomb, of course, really solid. There's a couple things that this thing can do, but it's really straightforward in terms of what it wants to do, which is going to be to get a Spore up, annoy things, absorb Toxic Spikes, just be a general pivot. Because if I bring this thing in to tank an attack and then switch out into a general pivot like Mandibuzz, I'll be in a really good position. Or if he goes for an Ice move, then I can go into my Porygon 2, which will be able to take a hit a lot better than it would potentially a fighting attack. So I can pivot around really well, scout if things are scarfed or banded or specs or whatever, and that's what Amoonguss will allow me to do without being punished because of the regen ability, which I cannot state is the best. It's the best ability in the game. Bar none, it is the best ability in Pokemon. Moving on though, our next mon, I honestly felt like at this point, looking at my team, I need a few things. Number one is I need a speed tier that is above base 100 that is not going to be the Dragapult. And number two, I need to have a Pokemon that gets rocks, which I did not have. So I said, you know what? For the first time in what feels like forever, I'm drafting Lycanroc, and Lycanroc Dusk is joining the team, which is pretty exciting, considering that it is insanely difficult to prep for. There are certain matchups where it just says no, and just kills everything. Tough Claws boosted attacks, Stone Edge, Close Combat, Play Rough, Drill Run, whatever is going to be hitting things like a truck. A Cell Rock on top of that for priority is nice. It gets access to Sash Endeavor, with rocks of course being a very common set to run. It is currently our only rocker, which is not great, but it is an option to really scare out opponents, and they have to prep for it. They have to respect this, especially if they have those flying types, those fire types, those Pokemon that are going to be weak to the rock type attacks. Lycanroc Dusk is going to be amazing. We decided to nickname this thing Boomy, by the way. So I'm pretty excited to see what we can do with the Lycanroc Dusk. Just a really solid Pokemon overall. But at this point, we're still missing quite a few different types. We're missing a Steel type, we're missing a Psychic type, a Ground type, another Water type, because I want Primarian to be more offensive and treat more like a Fairy type. There's quite a bit that we're missing. So I decided to go ahead and grab the next Mon, which, again, super early. But again, I'm drafting like 2 rounds ahead of people. Myself and Josh, Ultra Player, we were the ones who waited until the very end for our final 2 picks to get our Ubers, which really paid off for us because we didn't snipe each other at all. At the same time, Pat Mac waited for the final round for his Uber, which is really good. But what I'm trying to say with this is we don't really need to like worry about getting sniped anymore, at least, because at this point, these are Pokemon, Amoonguss, Lycanroc, that would have gone 2 rounds later most likely, because I, well, would have had to take them 2 rounds later. But now I can take them 2 rounds earlier because I don't need to have, I didn't have to use 2 early picks on my Ubers. I know what they are. They're locked in. I'm guaranteed to get those Pokemon no matter what. So I'm going to take advantage of that, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and grab a 4-point Quagsire. So Quagsire at 4 points is solid. It's really good. For Ubers, it's amazing. I actually think it's better in Ubers than it is in Standard, which again is not a hot take. It's very common opinion. But having Unaware is great. Water Absorb super solid depending on the ability that you, or the opponent's moves or mons or whatever. It gets access to Ice Beam, Scald, Earthquake, Earth Power as well. Toxic, again, very good. Recover. It's a bulky water type, which is nice. No Momentum is one of the only mons I really can't use as a pivot or really start scaring things out, but I think it pairs really well with Amoonguss. Amoonguss is weak to fire, it's weak to ice. This thing is neutral, or no, it's neutral to ice, yeah, and it's resisting fire, which is nice, but it's also 4 times weak to grass, which Amoonguss 4 times resists. I think it's a really solid defensive backbone that pairs really well with the Porygon 2 and the Mandibuzz, which are both pretty nice. But yeah, like I was saying, I feel like having a Pokemon that has a lot of boxes ticked off with the Quagsire, being our ground type, an unaware Pokemon, is really nice to have, and it's a really decent physical check as well. Just don't get hit by like a ground on Solar Beam or a random Power Herb Solar Beam or a random Energy Ball from something, and you can be in a really good spot with a Quagsire on your roster, especially in Ubers for only 4 points. It was an absolute steal. Super happy with this Pokemon. It really brings the team together, I find. Our next Mon is going to be our Hitmontop. Now, Hitmontop is a Pokemon I've never drafted before, but well, first of all, it's bad. Hitmontop is a bad Pokemon. Objectively, it's a really bad Pokemon. But here's what it does for me. Most of the ghost types that I'm really worried about are either pretty frail or have dual typings that are weak to ice. So I can always run Technician Triple Axle. At the same time, I don't want to have my Mandibuzz be forced to run Defog when I need it. I can always run it on my Hitmontop, and it also gives me Intimidate. So what it provides is nice for me. It's not a good Pokemon, but what it provides is nice. So I'll take it. For 6 points, it's not bad at all. At this point, I have 41 points for my Ubers, and I have another after this. I think I have, 3 points left? So I can have 1 or 2 more Mons, and then basically that's it. I have my Ubers, and I have my team. So getting a low tier Hitmontop, I felt it was just a decent idea. No, it doesn't get knockoff, which would make it infinitely better, but it does get a couple of priority options, which can be very, very useful for my team in Sucker Punch and in Mach Punch, and its coverage just isn't bad. I just think it's a really bad Pokemon for what it does. It's super overrated, and honestly, it should not be drafted in a lot of situations, but it is because it's bulky and it has Rapid Spin, so why not? Our next Mon is going to be a web setter for us, a 2-point Charjabug. Beep beep, the bus is back, and I'm pretty excited for it because it gives me webs, which is not super needed on my team, but it's nice to have. Just having that option is really good, especially with my Ubers. So my Ubers, they really appreciate webs. I get up webs with an Uber here, oh my god, it's going to rip through a team, and having Charjabug in Ubers is, I think, even better than having it in a regular draft league. It's solid in the regular draft league, but having the Ubers, you just bring it in, you get up your webs, and then you sack it off or get momentum and you die. And there's really nothing else you need to do with it because the games are much more offensive. If you get up one Dragon Dance with something, or you get up a Swords Dance with something behind webs, it's going to be game over. So why stress about keeping differential when you can just sack off one Pokemon and potentially claim a 5-0 W? Charjabug is great. For 2 points, I'll take it. We now have 1 point left, and I only have 1 rocker, 1 form of hazards, and that is going to be Stealth Rocks from my Lycanroc Dusk, which is not great. I feel like because of that, it's going to come to a lot of games, which I don't really want to have to do, but it probably will, okay? And because of that, we decided to go with something that gets spikes, and that's going to be Shelmet. Now, Shelmet can actually wall quite a few Pokemon in this format. It can wall something like a Zygarde. It can beat really good, the good physical fighting type Pokemon that don't have a lot of coverage, and same thing with the good ground type Pokemon that don't have a lot of coverage either. It gets up spikes, gets up Toxic Spikes, gets up Baton Pass, Recover, can Encore things. Just a general annoying Pokemon. For 1 point, if I can force someone to just even care a little bit about it, it's a big deal. And at the same time, this is the best Urshifu check in the game because it can't be crit, and it can do, like, you can take less than half from a banded Wicked Blow that can't crit, which is amazing. So yeah, moving on, our Ubers. I'm going to spend a pretty long point of time discussing these, and I decided to go with my first Uber, a Pokemon that, honestly, this is what I wanted to pair Dragapult with from the beginning, and it makes a lot of sense. And it makes sense why I decided to go with Mandibuzz, and it makes sense why I decided to go with Porygon too, because it shares a common weakness. Two of them, actually. And that common weakness is going to be Ghost and Dark, because we got Solgaleo. Now, Solgaleo is going to be nicknamed Appa, yep, and Solgaleo is fantastic. What it does for this team is, number one, it is a massive hindrance to Fairy types. Are Fairy types going to want to come against me? Probably not. Not with the Solgaleo around, but they kind of need to with a Dragapult around. They kind of need to when I have a Pokemon that just pressures them that much with the speed, with the powerful Dragon type attacks. At the same time, do Pokemon like normal type Pokemon want to come? I mean, maybe. I want to have a really good fighting type, but Hitmontop will have to settle. But at the same time, this Pokemon, it hits hard. It hits really hard. Sunsteel Strike is an absolute nuke. It murders things. It gets really solid coverage. The one thing it doesn't get, that I really wish it did, was going to be Rocks, and it doesn't get that, sadly. But it does get Morning Sun, it does get Teleport, it does get decent coverage. At the same time, all I really need to do is click Sunsteel Strike, Fire move, Ground move, Fighting move, whatever, and I'm in a good position. Okay? It's a solid mon overall. Its stats are absolutely insane. It's kind of like the reverse of Lunala. I'll pull them up right now. Full Metal Body, first of all, makes it so it's immune to Intimidate, immune to Webs, immune to all that stuff, which is fantastic. But then it's got 137 HP, 137 attack, 107 defense, 113 special attack, so it's not bad at all, and then 89 special defense being its worst stat is, again, it's whatever. I have pretty good special defensive Pokemon in my Amoonguss, my Primarina, my Porygon, and my Mandibuzz, so I'm not really worried about that too much. And then 97 speed is really good. So yeah, you guys see why I wasn't so worried about the speed tier between, like, what? It's going to be, I think, Prim, no, not even Prim. It's going to be, I think, Hitmontop and Solgaleo, because I have Solgaleo there. I have this Pokemon to kind of cover me. Mandibuzz is in between, yeah, but I feel pretty good about my chances with the Solgaleo around. It cuts the speed tier really nicely between my Lycanroc and the slower mons, which is super good. Just the coverage thing gets amazing. It can run so many different items, so many different sets. Slow Momentum Teleport is amazing, and just pressure teams so damn much. Really big fan of this, and I think it pairs extremely well with our next mon. And our next mon, I was really debating. I was like, I'm going to go with Urshifu, because Urshifu is going to be super nice to be able to pivot around. It's a really good pairing with Dragapult. I can make the thumbnail like I got both the two best Pokemon in the format. But we want something that may not be as good synergistically, but oh my god, it's going to be really hard for my opponents to handle these Pokemon. That's going to be the combination of Dragapult and Kyurem Black. Kyurem Black made it to the final round for me, and I will take it. Having this Pokemon around is going to be amazing. We are going to be absolutely nuking everything. 170 attack, with Dragonite, with physical ice moves on Icicle Spear, with Freeze Drive for the bulky waters, with Fusion Bolt for the bulky waters. Coverage out the ass. Super excited for this Pokemon. 95 base speed, Roost for recovery. Yes, it's an ice type. Yes, it's a dragon type. I know it's duplicate type with a dragon, but it doesn't matter. Dragon spam is so good. Most people drafted one fairy and a steel. My Pokemon, my Dragapult, can Willows the steels and then hex them down. My Kyurem can just Earth Power the steels and beat them down. Most steels have a secondary typing that is weak to ice. So I'm feeling good. So I feel at the end of the day, this Pokemon is going to put in so much work. The bulk it has, the power, the fact that it can go mixed, it can go Dragonite, it can go defensive. Whatever I want, Kyurem can do it for me. I am super excited to have both Kyurem and Solgaleo as my Ubers, as my final two picks. And because of that, I genuinely believe that my team is the scariest out of everyone's in the leagues. There are teams that have like a better top 3 than me, but I think the top 3 that I have is up there with anyone's, and my team overall just fits my playstyle really well and can do a lot of things that I'm really excited to do. So guys, that is my team for this battle. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, of course, subscribe as well. Our first battle will be going up a week from today. Guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.